Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Prince George's County Memorial Library System tutorial on how to cornrow hair. My name is Tammeka, and I will be doing this demonstration for you today. I will start off by letting you know that when you braid hair or when you style your hair, it's best to wash and condition your hair and blow dry your hair. And during that process, of course, when you wash and dry your hair, you towel dry it, and then you should apply a heat protectant before you start to blow dry your hair with a blow dryer. And you want to make sure that you select the correct settings for your hair type because you don't want to damage your hair using too much heat. That's why it's imperative to use a heat protectant and the correct temperature on your blow dryer. Once your hair is blow dry, I like to start from the end to make sure that I get out all of the tangles that may be in your hair. You always want to start from the end and comb and treat your hair very delicately, getting out any tangle. This is done with a detangling comb or a detangling brush. You can also use it with a detangling solution or product. You want to ensure that you work through to the base of your head with a detangling brush or comb to get loose any tangle in your hair. When you're combing it, and never brush the ends of your hair, it'll damage it. It's unnecessary. You should only use a brush and go through your hair and very lightly. And a soft bristle brush will do, not a hard bristle brush. Once you finish blow drying and detangling your hair, you want to go ahead and start using the products that you use normally on your hair. I like to use a edge control to hold down the edges of your hair so you won't have too many flyaways. I also like to use a oil-based spray as opposed to a grease because greases are heavy and they shouldn't be on your hair because they weigh them down and it doesn't help the hair grow. So I use a light mist of oil, and you want to use the oil every day, especially if you have dry hair like I do. I also use a finishing spray, and it also has a oil base in it as well, so that again I am getting a little oil sheen and moisture for my hair. I also use a moisturizer. The moisturizer, of course, does what it says. It adds moisture to your hair to prevent damage, and it helps the hair grow. And it helps in aid in other things that you need that's beneficial in making your hair healthy. I also use a gel as a finishing and as well as a styling product. While I braid, I generally put gel on the edges of the hair, and I put gel on throughout the hair so that as I'm braiding, that the braid is very intact and smooth. Once you start to incorporate the styling products that you like to use on your hair, like I stated, for my daughter's hair, I use just a moisturizer and an edge control. You don't necessarily have to use too many things on your hair, especially if you're natural. Or it just particularly depends on what you like. The last step before I start to braid the hair is I get gel, rub it on my hands, and just rub it throughout her hair, so that when I start to braid her hair, that the braid is nice and neat because the gel will help control the flyaways. Also, too, one of the most important parts of braiding hair or corn rolling, any type of style, you want to make sure that you have parts. You want to make sure that your part is clean and straight. Excuse me, clear and straight. And you do this, sometimes you may have to go over it. Some people aren't the best parters. I'm one of them. So I generally use a lot of time parting But over the years, I've decided that 5 times is enough for me. And if I don't get it right at 5 times, then I'm just gonna go with the 5th time. So I just make sure that I go down her hair in a straight line. It's not gonna be perfect. Don't strive for perfect. Strive for neat. And see, now once you get down to the back of the head, you know that the back of the head is, of course, smaller than the top of the head. So you want to start to contour the part so that you don't have a whole lot of hair in the back, because then it'll affect the rest of the braids for the entire head. So you want to kind of half it. Once you start going down to the small part of your head into the knot of your neck, you want to just go ahead and half it. Take that additional hair out. You don't need it. You only need a little bit of hair in the back so that the other braids will be able to be in line with all the with the first braid. So it's very important to minimize it once it gets to the back. I've already used a black elastic. Black elastics work to secure the hair in place when you're braiding hair. However, sometimes you may need an additional support. So I can use a bobby pin or a clip. I prefer clips, but bobby pins work as well. So now that her hair is secured, I'm just gonna comb through one more time because I know my daughter's hand gets tangled, just to ensure that when I'm braiding, I can have a smooth braid. Okay. Again, remember, you want to use your brush very lightly on the top of your head, just to secure the front of your hair. So you want to divide the top of your hair into 3 parts. If you have a thinner hair, if you have thin edges, you might want to go ahead and bring the braid back to where your hair is a little more fuller, so your braid is a nice neat. So you have 3 sections. You have 1, you have 2, and you have a 3rd. It's very important when you braid to never cross the section that is right beside each other twice. You only cross it once. That will ensure that you have a secure braid. So I'm going to show you. We're going to start now. I have 1 section here. I have 1 section here. I have another section separated by my middle finger. And I have the other section gripped with my index finger. So now I'm going to start the braid. Gathering all of the hair. I'm just going to start crossing over the section. Whether you underhand cross, overhand cross, you still should be able to secure the braid. That's the most important part when starting a cornrow. And you want to tighten it as you go down and gather hair a little at a time for a neat, secure braid. So again, never cross the same 2 sections twice. I'm going over this section once, and then I'm going to take this section and go over the next section. And you just want to keep on grabbing a little bit of hair into each section as you go down the head. Remember, you still have 3 sections, and as you go down the head, you're gathering a little bit of hair each time you go down. This can be done with your finger or your nail, depending on what's easier for you. And keep in mind, as you braid down the head, you want to continue to keep a tight grip. And you cross the section. Overlapping. Cornrowing is all about securing and overlapping. And rotation. Rotation. And securing a little bit of hair each time you rotate. Just a little. And I secure hair either with my finger or my nail. Whatever is easier at the time. You want to continue to overlap each section. As you work your way down to the back of the neck, you want to loosen your grip a little bit. Now, when you get down here, it's not important to put the hair on your neck inside of the cornrow because it will cause hair bumps and it's too tight. So you can just take it out. And it makes for a more comfortable style. So at this point, you want to continue to braid the cornrow to the end. This is where I like to take a little extra gel and put on the ends of the hair, especially in between trims, which is necessary at this point because you have to trim your hair in order for your hair to grow. And if you don't, you'll have hair damage and flyaways, and just overall, it's just necessary to keep your hair trimmed. So you want to continue to braid, continuing to grab the hair and braid it into a neat cornrow. And remember why it's so important to get your hair trimmed. See, you can have a lot of damage. So remember, it's important to get your hair trimmed. So if you're in between, you can have an easy fix by just taking the gel, putting it on the end to secure it. Once you get all the way to the end, you can either secure it with a black elastic, you can secure it with gel, you can secure it with a bobby pin in the style. However, you do not want to use rubber bands at all. They will damage your hair and break it off. The braid is neat, it's clean, it's secure. She can wear it to school when she's doing her virtual learning, hanging out with her friends. She can do anything she wants. If you choose to go on a job interview, you can choose to braid your hair, braids, cornrows. They're very useful. They're easy and they're stylish. So take advantage of the opportunity when it comes and give your hair a break often. And sometimes you can do that by just putting a couple of cornrows in your hair and going to work, going to school, or just hanging out around the house. It's very important to maintain your hair. Lastly, when you want to go to bed at night, it's important to use a satin scarf so that you won't damage your hair. Thank you for joining me today. You have a great day. Bye-bye.